If you could pay the bills on laughter, that'd be the dream, but eventually you've got to start getting paid for gigs and stuff, which happens through you having good gigs, and you've got to enjoy yourself. Like, if you enjoy yourself, the crowd will see you enjoying yourself, and then they'll enjoy it more. Yeah, the biggest reward in being a comedian should be being a comedian and performing, you know? Hello, I'm Ben Shannon. I'm a stand-up comedian and I'm 19. I was always quite loud in class, I suppose, but that was starting to go into like secondary school. The term like class clown, I don't know, it wasn't really that. It was just, it's a weird way to put it. I enjoyed making people laugh, but I didn't know about it until I went to see my first bit of comedy, which was when I was 14. I went to go and see Russell Howard, a place called the Engine Shed in Lincoln, which is near where I grew up. We came across, I was born in Cyprus, because they're both in the army over there, and we came across when I was like 1, lived in the same house for what would have been about 17 years, whatever. Confidence is very important. My dad's very confident most of the time. As I say, he's a teacher, he was army, he's a big, short man. But I don't know, he says he couldn't do what I do. There's a good thing whereby he goes to, if I'm gigging in Nottingham or Leicester, near where they live, he'll come to the gig with me and he gets nervous almost for me. Like, he's an absolute wreck, which I find hilarious, because it's just like, well, I'm not really nervous, but he's there like, ah! But there's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. And definitely when I started to come out of kind of adolescent years, a lot of people were calling me arrogant, which I think was completely and utterly fair enough, to be honest. But to be confident, you've got to sell yourself if you want to do comedy and you want to get noticed by promoters and stuff, so you have to be confident. Some people who maybe have a stage persona that isn't that confident, so like character acts who are nervous and things, they're some of the most confident of all, because you've got to, it's kind of like layers, you've got to come out of it and be even more confident. But my kind of upbringing kind of thing was a case of, I was an only child, and usually one of my parents would be away with the army-ish things. So it was, I don't know, I kind of had to do stuff myself. I had to be confident from a young age kind of thing, and that's followed through. Followed through, sorry.
Well, actually, Daryl, come here. Daryl, hello. What time are we tomorrow?
I believe it's 9 in the AM.
On Wednesday?
On a Wednesday.
Alright.
As opposed to Thursday or Tuesday.
Okay, enjoy your night.
You enjoy the rain, the weather, the gig.
Danger zone.
I'm going to enjoy the Xbox.
Right,
without you.
later.
See you later. Idiot.
I dislike the idea of people thinking if you are in comedy, there must be something wrong with you. But I can definitely see what they mean, because a lot of the comedians I meet do have issues. And I'm sure I have issues, but they're either not that big, or they're so big that I've repressed them so much that even I can't think of them, which could be the most worrying part. But yeah, there you go. But I did do my first gig a week before my 17th birthday, when I was 16. That's the one before 17. Purely because what kind of got me into it. I did performing arts in college when I came out of secondary school. And I would have done comedy if I could at college, I didn't know about it. And a friend of mine on my performing arts course, for my birthday, the birthday present she gave me was she booked me to do a gig. And I was like, oh wow, that's actually a really good present. So I was kind of forced to do it. So if I was ever going to put it off, there was no chance. So I went, I did the gig, it went really well. But then between there, where I was 17, and coming to university, which obviously was a good year and a half later, I only did 7 or 8 gigs. I only gigged once every few months because I couldn't drive, so I couldn't get to the gigs. There was a lot of stuff with college, and it was just weird. So, but back then I thought I was properly gigging and doing it properly, but that was nothing. I wasn't learning as much as I could.
Mr. Graham Whistler!
It's a lot of doing nothing, being a comedian. Like, in a day, you'd expect someone to go to work. It's a lot of doing nothing at all, but still always thinking towards the next gig and things. I tell you what it is, it's a terrible thing to film a typical day off. That's what it is, a comedian. I will try and get up a little bit later on, try and have a good night's sleep the night before, because it is just 9 hours out your day gone. So I'll try and get up about probably 11ish, like just have a proper lie-in, and then make sure I've got all the stuff with me, the banner I have for the gigs, the 12-step comedy banner. Just make sure I've got everything before I go on the train. If there's any admin or anything to do, sort that out there. You can wake up at 8 o'clock, whereas when other people would be getting ready to go to work, and you're not going to a gig until 6 o'clock that night. So what are you supposed to do in the day? You can write and stuff, which is what a lot of the top-end comedians do. They sit down for 3 hours a day and write. I'm very early on in my career of doing it, so I'm not so much doing the scheduled writing as I'd like to, but I'm definitely kind of going, oh, I'm going to write for an hour this morning, let's do that. So I think just the general time scale of it all is probably the biggest downside, if there is a downside, but having a good gig and people telling you did well more than makes up for it, With uni, probably like a typical day would literally be get up for these outrageous classes that are sometimes at 9 in the morning. That's not a thing. What I really gained from doing this course is being surrounded by other comedians, and not so much people that want to do stand-up, but writers and people who just want to be in the industry. Because in secondary school, there was no drama for me. There was nothing like that. The first time I really did drama was at college. And then in my second year of college, I happened to be looking at what universities to go to, thinking, oh, there's no comedy I can do at all, and put comedy into UCAS, and it came up with this course. So I came to this course, and just being surrounded by other people who you can show the material to and go, oh, do you think this is a good idea? Yeah, this kind of works, let's try something else, and helping each other. And the tutor we have in our stand-up classes is Mark Blake, he's been a stand-up, he is a stand-up for many years, and he's worked with some really good names as well, Angelos Epithemou, Catherine Tate, kind of character act stuff, and many of us as well that, I don't have the mental capacity to remember the names of. But yeah, getting feedback from people like that and just basic stuff is fantastic, And you can get it elsewhere, but being at the course here, over my 3 years, I feel like I'll have learned over these 3 years what would take probably 10 years on the circuit to learn. No one's really kind of gone, oh, you're an idiot, be a bin man, or something like that. It's understandable that someone would basically go to you, oh, you shouldn't do that, you've got to think about the rest of your life and stuff. But the fact that I've always wanted to do it from quite a youngish age, and I'm doing it at quite a young age, means that, say I do it for the next 4 odd years, and it doesn't work out, the skills and stuff I've learnt along the way would help me at what would essentially be the age of about 24, 23. Do something else completely. I've not thrown my life away pursuing a career that I've got no, not interest, but no future in, because it's early days. I did think about teaching at one point, before comedy was kind of introduced to me. I've always been quite confident. The more you cover yourself in comedy, sounded wrong, the more you kind of get from it. It is pretty much my life. I think it has to be. If you want to, you have to surround yourself in it. Like I said before, with anything, if you want to go far in it, you have to surround yourself in it. You have to know this is what you want to do. Because if you believe in something and if you want to achieve in that department, then you will if you put all the effort in you can. And this career is, you will get knockbacks. Like, you might have bad gigs. You might think a bit really works and then it doesn't. Not everyone's going to like you. That's just how it is. So you have to be honest, you have to be yourself. It's a lot of advice to kind of give, but you have to give it 100%. You have to be honest, and you just have to believe in yourself.